Have you ever wondered how China managed to pull off such an incredible economic transformation in just a few decades? It's a story that has fascinated economists, politicians, and business leaders worldwide. And when you dig into it, you start to see a fascinating pattern. It's almost as if the entire country is run like one massive, incredibly efficient corporation. Let's call it China Inc. Today, we're going to explore this idea and break down exactly why China operates like a giant company. Let's start at the top, with the CEO and the board of directors. In this analogy, the central government, specifically the Communist Party of China, acts as the corporate headquarters. They set the long-term vision and strategic goals for the entire nation. Think about their famous 5-year plans. These aren't just vague suggestions. They are detailed business plans for the country. They outline specific targets for GDP growth, technological development, infrastructure projects, and environmental goals. Just like a company sets its quarterly and annual objectives, China sets its national priorities with incredible precision. Top-down. Centralized planning allows for a unified direction and a massive mobilization of resources that you rarely see in other countries. When the leadership decides to become a world leader in artificial intelligence or electric vehicles, the entire system pivots to make it happen. Now, every big company needs its divisions and departments, right? In China, the provincial and local governments act like regional business units. They are given a degree of autonomy to achieve the central government's goals, but they are also held accountable for their performance. Their KPIs, or key performance indicators, are things like local GDP growth, job creation, and attracting investment. Local officials are often promoted based on their economic performance, which creates a very competitive environment. It's like having a bunch of regional managers all vying for the Manager of the Year award. This internal competition drives efficiency and innovation at a local level, as each region tries to outperform the others to meet the national objectives set by the head office. So, we have the management structure, but what about the assets? This is where state-owned enterprises, or SOEs, come into play. These are the operational arms der Telekommunikation. Think of them as wholly owned subsidiaries of the parent company. When the government wants to build a massive high-speed rail network, it doesn't need to persuade private companies with tax breaks. It simply directs its state-owned railway company to get the job done. This gives the government immense control over the economic backbone of the country. These SOEs can be directed to pursue strategic goals that might not be immediately profitable, like building infrastructure in remote areas to stimulate growth or investing heavily in research and development for future technologies. They serve states' long-term strategy, not just short-term shareholder value. And what about the private sector? You might be thinking about giants like Alibaba and Tencent. Where do they fit in? Well, you can think of them as strategic partners or even highly successful startups that have received venture capital from the state, in a sense. While they operate with a lot of independence, their success is often intertwined with the government's goals. The state creates a favorable environment for them to grow, especially in sectors that align with national priorities like e-commerce and digital payments. In return, these companies contribute to the national strategy. For example, by creating jobs, driving technological innovation, and expanding China's influence globally. There's a symbiotic relationship. The government supports their growth, and their growth, in turn, helps China Inc. achieve its objectives. It's a powerful public-private partnership on a national scale. Let's talk about human resources. How does China Inc. manage its massive workforce of over 1 billion people? The education system plays a crucial role. It's geared towards producing the talent needed to fuel the economic machine. There's a huge emphasis on STEM subject science, technology, engineering, and math. This focus ensures a steady supply of engineers, scientists, and skilled technicians to power its manufacturing and tech sectors. It's like a corporate training program on a national scale designed to equip the workforce with the exact skills the company needs to compete globally. The government invests heavily in universities and research institutions, creating a talent pipeline that directly feeds into its strategic industries. Another key aspect of any successful company is its investment, strategy, or R&D. China Inc. is a massive investor. We already touched upon the 5-year plans, which allocate colossal sums of money to infrastructure. We're talking about the world's largest network of high-speed trains, modern airports, and massive ports. These aren't just vanity projects. They are strategic investments designed to improve logistics, connect economic hubs, and boost efficiency across the board. It's like a company upgrading its entire factory and supply chain to stay ahead of the competition. This long-term investment perspective is a huge advantage. While other countries might debate funding for a new bridge for years, China can build one in a fraction of the time because it is part of the central strategic plan. Furthermore, China Inc. has a very aggressive global expansion strategy. The Belt and Road Initiative is the perfect example. It's a massive global infrastructure development strategy to connect Asia with Africa and Europe. From a corporate perspective, this is like a multinational company expanding into new markets, securing supply chains for raw materials, and creating new customers for its products. By funding and building railways, ports, and power plants in other countries, China is not only exporting its construction expertise but also creating long-term economic and political ties. It's a strategic move to secure its future resource needs and expand its global footprint, much like a corporation would secure its supply lines and open up new international markets. Of course, running a country like a company has its critiques. This model can lead to issues with debt, as local governments borrow heavily to meet growth targets. There can be a lack of transparency and a concentration of power. The focus on economic growth has also come at a significant environmental cost. Although this is something the Board of Directors is now trying to address with new green initiatives in their latest 5-year plan. The emphasis on collective goals can sometimes come at the expense of individual freedoms, a point frequently raised by international observers. It's a trade-off that is central to the China Inc. model. But whether you agree with the approach or not, you have to admit it's been incredibly effective in terms of raw economic output. By centralizing its vision, creating internal competition, controlling key assets, and making massive strategic investments, China has engineered one of the most remarkable economic growth stories in human history. This corporate-style management has allowed it to be decisive, agile, and incredibly focused on long-term goals. So, when you look at China's next big move, whether it's in space exploration, quantum computing, or renewable energy, try to see it through this lens. It's not just a country. It's China Inc., executing another part of its grand corporate strategy. It's a fascinating way to understand the forces shaping our world today. What do you think about this analogy? Does it make sense to view China as a giant corporation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your perspective on this. Thanks so much for watching, and if you found this interesting, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the way our world works. See you next time.